Okay, so I watched a new Australian monster creature feature, sort of. I mean, it is, but you'll see what I'm talking about. Called Scurry. And this is actually from the director of the very cool movie Primitive War, which also came out this year. And I really recommend if you want to see 1960s Vietnam soldiers versus dinosaurs. Yes, dinosaurs. And it is actually better than Jurassic World Rebirth. So if you're going to watch a dinosaur movie this year, Primitive War would be that one. So that's what you'll get out of this review, at least, as a recommendation for that movie, if for some reason you skipped it. Yeah, so Scurry is about a man who falls into a sinkhole of sorts, and he has to scurry through these tunnels. He meets up with someone else while they're in these tunnels. The whole thing is filmed in very close quarters, down on your stomach, in hands and knees, crawling through tunnels for 90% of the film. And what are they running from? Why is there a sinkhole in the middle of the city? Because there is an alien invasion, and there are these bug-like creatures that are coming to kill everybody. Very reminiscent of something like Quiet Place and plenty of other movies of the sort. Yeah, okay, so I am actually a big fan of movies like this, these kind of close quarters, minimalist films that clearly don't have a huge budget but want to execute big ideas, right? This alien invasion and these people running from all of these creatures and this and that, right? That's like a big thing. It's a worldwide takeover, but they have to do it on a budget, and the way you do that is to put your characters in a situation where they're stuck somewhere small, right? That cuts down on the budget of having to knock down city buildings and creatures running through the streets and everything. So it's a clever way to have big ideas and do it on a modest budget. So I think that the movie just becomes pretty monotonous because of its repetition. There is distrust between him and the woman that he runs into down there, and there's a lot of kind of they're not gelling. They're fighting about this and that, trust issues, whatever. And it's really just kind of a lot of them crawling through close tunnels and arguing with one another. Then there's some character development, which some of the stories that are told between them are quite good, and I think their performances delivering them are good. And I think in that respect, they did a good job there. As far as the creatures and stuff go, yeah, I mean, they're CGI, and of course it's a low budget film, so they don't look amazing. I mean, especially compared to Primitive War, which has some really great effects and some amazing dinosaur effects. They're not all incredible. There are some that are worse than others in Primitive War, but there are some really incredible effect shots in Primitive War that you would never expect from kind of like a B monster movie, so to speak. And that's basically what we got going on in here. And there definitely is a sense of urgency to a degree. Like they very much want to get out of this tunnel. There always seems to be a desire to push forward, and that's good. But I don't know. It just kind of meanders a bit, and that's funny because there was a French film from the last 5 years that I absolutely love that is fairly similar-ish, called Meander, and that is all about a woman crawling around in these tunnels that are alien in nature, and she's having to survive this kind of gauntlet of pitfalls and traps and whatnot set in front of her. And I was a big fan of this one. It's very like cube kind of sci-fi escape room, but like in tunnels, claustrophobic scenario. And I always found that one to be engaging. I always found that one to find new ways to thrill the audience and excite the audience and tantalize, um, your when you're sitting there and you're thinking about like, oh, what's gonna happen next and this and that. That was exciting. It was a fun watch, very fun. I've watched it actually a couple times now. And yeah, I mean, I don't think this is bad. I liked it. I definitely got through it no problem. I wanted to see the conclusion. I wanted to know what was going to happen. The ending was pretty good. I mean, I think that they, like when you talk about other movies that are like this, right? You have a good amount of films at this point that do this kind of trapped in a very, very small claustrophobic scenario, much like Buried with Ryan Reynolds or something. I mean, think about that. But that movie just always figured out a way to add variety and make it feel fresh from scene to scene, right? As the pieces are put together and as the stakes are raised, as new things are introduced, that keeps you, guessing. That you're like, oh shit, what's gonna happen next? And I just feel like this movie doesn't achieve that. It just kind of feels like the same thing is happening over and over. They're like crawling, they're fighting, they're whispering, they're talking too loud, telling each other to shush. They think they hear a noise. Is it the creature? Is it not? A couple shakes of the ground and dirt falls, and they're trying to get from one end of the tunnel to the next. It's just kind of that over and over. And it's like, okay, like we've seen this. Like, what's new? What can we add new to this? And I think that's where this film lost me. That's where it was like, where it becomes not really a recommendation. It's like a soft recommendation for someone who's like really into these types of movies and doesn't mind how redundant scenes can feel. But yeah, I mean, as I said, it's not bad. It's not bad. It's just repetitive, kind of like me right now. I'm saying the same thing over and over. So anyway, it's available to rent right now. Let me know if you watch it.